I wanted people that understood that in structure, there's freedom. I wanted people to understand that if you created a solid foundation, that you will weather any algorithm there is on social media. Your business will succeed through any type of recession because you have a solid building block. I wanted to connect with people who knew that there's plenty of work for everybody, that there is no competition, that competition lies in your head. I mean, these are things that to me are extremely important because I believe that. Yeah. And I was like, okay, you know what? The core beliefs of One Amazing Women's Network is what I believe. And if people go to the website and they don't believe that, I'm okay with that. And so when I talk about the content that I share, it comes down from those core values that all of a sudden I'm meeting women and men who think the same way.
Welcome to the $1 Million Equation Podcast, a podcast about the easiest, fastest way to build $1 million business based on the best-selling book, The $1 Million Equation. If you love business, each episode reveals all of the core fundamental essentials for growth. Now, here's your host, Richelle Shaw.
Yes. So here I am again. I know that I say this every segment, but damn it, it's true. Because this virtual summit has been the most fun ever. And why? Because I get to talk to my business besties, right? My business besties that I sit and we end up for hours talking about marketing, talking about business, building businesses. And I think we met speaking at another event and instantly clicked, like it was just, I know you, you know me, and here we are again with some of my favorites. Today, she's going to talk about 100 pieces of content in less than 10 minutes. How fun is that? Because we know we need it. It's my friend, Claudia Sheridan. Hello, beautiful. How are you?
Hey, Richelle. I am doing awesome. Thank you so much for inviting me to be part of the virtual summit. I love the whole concept. I love just being able to share information with other people who want to learn more and who strive knowledge and just have like awesome energy. So I appreciate you, my friend. And you're so right. We always go off on tangents and talk for hours and hours. And hours. So let's see if we can get this one done and actually stay focused, right?
Right, and stay in the time. But, I truly believe that they will get value even when we go on tangents, because I think that we should just hit the button and let just people just sit and listen to us go off on the tangents. Because we end up, you're writing, I'm writing, and then by the time we finish, I got a list of 50 things to do. So
me too.
This is going to be really, really great. I would love for you to really just introduce yourself. I don't do bios, but you are pretty impressive.
Thank you.
You write for magazines, you own a women's network. You are a speaker, you have some private clients, but it's a lot to try to work directly with her. So introduce yourself and let them know all the awesomeness that I know about you.
Oh, awesome. Thank you so much, Richelle. All right. So everyone, my name is Claudia Sheridan. I'm a digital marketing strategist, but more importantly, I'm a connector. I love working with entrepreneurs. So long story short, in the background, I've done all different types of businesses. Random fact, I used to own my own cheese manufacturing company and had to learn how to market cheese. You would think it'd be really easy to market. Not so much. So big, a lot of different things in my background. And I wrote I'm an author, 2016. I published a book, and I just went blank on the name. How silly is that? The ultimate guide to getting started with social media, what every small business owner should know. I have a lot of certifications with digital marketing. I've got random certifications on everything else. I'm a licensed pasteurizer, again, random, but just a lot of different areas. More importantly, though, I founded One Amazing Women's Network, where it's a group of women and men that we connect and we talk about marketing, and we really focus on just that place of abundance, on sharing our knowledge, because we want to help each other rise. Because when we're working together, we're building together, we're having so much more fun, that energy just elevates. Yeah. And it's just an amazing time to be in business, and to be in business for yourself when you're doing it, when you're not by yourself. So yeah. That's who I am in a nutshell. I do work with private clients. They're very select, very few, and I cherish every single one of them. and we work on their Facebook ads, on their marketing strategy, and a lot of brainstorming that goes on with it. And I don't know where things come out of my brain sometime, but if you get me going, I am just like a verbal dump of ideas, and you have to write them down when I say them because I don't remember what I said.
No,
So
that's
it's like
totally me.
right, you transform as out of body experience where you're like, do the and the other person's like, that's genius. I'm like, wow, what did I just say?
Right. Or if they say, can you say it again? I go, no, I'm
you
so
should
sorry.
write it down. So yeah, so that's me in a nutshell. I do live in Southern California. It is sunny outside, so I guess there's that. And here I am, and I love Richelle. We did meet at an event speaking. We totally hit it off, and then went to dinner that night so we could avoid traffic, and have connected ever since. That was like 3 years ago, I think.
I think it was 3. Yeah, it's popped up in my Facebook memory. So 3 years ago, and then we've been connected ever since, which is so just awesome. I'm so excited for you to talk about this content and content strategies today, because here's the deal. I wrote the $1 Million Equation, 2012, so 7 years ago. And I talk about all the things that you need to do. You need to have a monthly newsletter. You need to be, 4 by 1 by 1Q, right? So, 4 times you need to connect with your customers at least a month. You need to have a print newsletter that goes out once a month. You've got all these things, right? And and now we add social media, because see, I built my $1 Million business without social media.
Right.
But if you don't have a presence, you're far behind. You're getting lost out there. So,
and it's like
this
boom.
Content thing, right?
Yeah, it's overwhelming.
Drives them crazy. And the number one question I get is, where do I start? How do I create it? And they just don't know how. I think we all know the why content, right? Mm-hmm. We get why you need to do it, but they don't know where to even get started. So let's talk about one of the biggest problems that I think all of our private clients have, and most people that I think they're making the mistake online is that their passion doesn't come through their writing.
Yes.
Right? So what they're great at, it doesn't come through when they're writing it down. So that's me too. And that's why I think it took so long for me in the online world to transition into people buying, right? Mm-hmm. Is because, if they've seen me in person, it's a wrap. Like they get it. But I couldn't do that in the writing and in my content. So tell us, how you do it and what's your philosophy on how it works. I know that was a long question, but just explain, how you think in your processes so that they can understand how this works.
You got it. And I love sharing this strategy because just like you said, you sit there and you think about content and you kind of almost, it takes you back to English class where you've got to write this paper, right? Yep. Yep. And if you were one of those people that loved writing, hey, kudos to you. When someone told me to write a paper in English, I was like, oh my God, I got to write this paper in English. And it was like this dread of homework, and God for it be like a history paper.
Right.
Something like that. It was just this overwhelming, like almost paralyzing fear that you think that you can only do once and you can't repeat. So one of the main things about content is you have to be consistent. And it means you have to be consistently in front of them, like your strategy. You have to connect with them, whether it is on social media, whether it is in a newsletter, whether it is email marketing. You need to pick your mediums, and hopefully it's multiple medium. Yep. Where you're connecting with people consistently. So how do we do that? If we know that we become academic when we write and we're no longer speaking English, we're speaking some other foreign language when we're writing. And
right, the formality really screws it up.
It totally does. It makes you like this again. It's like an out of body of experience where you're channeling your inner Poindexter to try and get it right and make it perfect. Yep. And you don't need to be that. And that's where social media, why I'm so passionate about social media, because you can be you. And we've heard this before. Anytime you've gone to, whether it's in person or a virtual summit or a social media class, they tell you be authentically yourself. Yeah. Right. Yeah. So what does that mean?
Right. Right. Because a lot of people are still screwing it up. Just so you
because they don't know who they authentically are because they want to authentically be somebody else. or
Right.
be the person they were told they need to be.
Yep.
And
Yep.
I would love to say that
Especially when coming from corporate America. I'm sorry for
yeah,
interrupting you, but I know that we have a lot of folks that are transitioning to their first biz, right?
right.
And when I watch folks coming in, and I go, what? Can you explain to me what the hell that is?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what does that mean?
What
Okay,
what did you
change
just
that.
do there? I mean,
Right,
yeah,
right, right.
and I remember, years ago when I was in my mid 20s, I was hired as the first female professor for the CIS program, Computer Information Systems program at the University of Dallas graduate program.
Yeah.
And I came home that Christmas. I was living in Texas at the time. I came home at Christmas, and my mom goes, "Oh my gosh, what are you going to do? You need to look professional." So I chopped my hair off because professional women didn't have long hair at that time.
Right.
Went, got a business suit, and bought heels. So let me tell you the 3 things I hate in life: short hair,
Yeah.
business suits, and heels.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Right. But that's what we were told to do at that time. And so I went and did those things. And when I started teaching my very first class, I felt like a poser. It was a 10-week course. Everybody in the class was 10 years older than I was on average because it's a master's program,
Sure.
right? They're working on their graduate degrees. And I knew I lost them because I had this imposter syndrome that I was trying to be somebody I wasn't, even though I was authentically myself because it was clearly me in front of them,
Right.
portraying the information. And one day I had this epiphany that I was like, you know what, this isn't working. And if you guys give me 10 minutes, I'm going to change everything up. We stopped the class. We rewrote the syllabus. I grabbed 2 people that were willing to help me out. We rewrote the syllabus, and I dismissed class at that point. We came back the following week. I showed up in jeans, wearing a hockey jersey, because at the time the Dallas Stars were playing, and I had season tickets, and I would much rather have been at the game, but I was in class.
Yep.
And I acted my age. I was myself. And those last 6 weeks of class, I got the highest reviews from all of my students who thought, who the heck is this chick in front of this classroom teaching me who thinks she knows everything, wearing mom's business suit?
Right. Mom's business suit. Right. Right. Right.
Thank you so much for listening to my passion project and the $1 Million Equation podcast. Love what you're hearing? If you like it, I love it. So click the subscribe button to get each week your new favorite episode.
So it's like that point where you're authentically yourself. So first of all, to recap on what authentically yourself is with your content, it's just be you. I mean, with flaws and all, accept yourself. What you look like is who you are. And what you have to say, your message is important, regardless of what industry you're in. So don't be afraid to share it. Just embrace it. And I always tell anybody I work with, love your lovers and don't worry about your haters, because you will attract the right people towards you. Because you like them. Yesterday I had lunch with a new friend, someone I just met. She's a CPA. And she goes, and she's starting a jewelry line. And she goes, when I'm a CPA, I go in, I'm in my business suit and this. She goes, but when I'm at home, I'm usually in my jeans and in my jersey. And I looked at her and I said, are you a better CPA when you're in a business suit, or are you just as, do you produce quality work when you're in your jeans? And she's like, I'm the same CPA all around. And I'm like, so then why are you making it so difficult? Like, wouldn't you rather work with people that are in their jeans? Like, because those are your people? And she's like, yeah. And I'm like, so then talk to them.
Talk to them.
So first thing, any content strategy that you're going to look into, you need to think about being yourself first and foremost, or what that is. And if you're a business of you're in a larger company and you have a brand and that brand has a voice, then you need to project that voice, and that voice needs to be personified. And what does that person look like? So step number 1 is be yourself. Then where do we start? All right, so we know we need to be ourselves. Where do we start? We start by speaking, because as you know, writing in Poindexter, it's very overwhelming. It's confusing. Might be some traumatic experiences for people. So now we're going to bring them back and then just share. Use your voice. Use your eyes light up when you speak about what you're doing. And yet, when we get into business for ourselves, the very first thing we do is we don't tell anybody what we're doing.
Right.
because we don't want to be judged, right? We don't want someone to go, what are you thinking? But the person that gets it when you're speaking to your girlfriends or your boyfriends or your coworkers or whatever that are really excited for this journey for you, they like talking to you about it because your eyes light up. You get this energy about you that you could talk for hours on, and you don't even know what just happened, right? Because it's that energy. So ditch the paper. Ditch it. Don't think about it. Talk. Right? And capture your voice. And what does that sound like? So after you're authentically yourself, right? You're going to be you. We're going to agree that we're just going to share who we are and what we are and bring what we want to that table, right? We're going to turn on a camera. And now I know that that's the part where everybody's like, what? I don't want to turn on a camera. I don't like how I look on camera. And
oh my gosh. And
my hair is messed up. And I can tell you that when I started, I was the exact same way. It was like, I need to get my hair done. I need to have my makeup on. What does my outfit look like? What does my background look like? If you go on my pages and you watch my videos, you'll see that's who it was in the beginning. You go now, you'll see my hair is up. I probably just woke up. I'm talking. I try to always just slap on a quick coat of lipstick before I go on live. Like that's kind of like a must have. If my eyes don't look the part, I've got my glasses. Where are they? In here. I pop those on because the glasses cover a lot of flaws, right? See, there you go. So you just kind of go, and that's our own ego trying to project what we want. When we can get away from that, it's even an easier content strategy. You can create even more content in less time. But turn your camera on. This little thing, we all have them. We all know them. We all have them attached to our ears or our hips. It's also a studio. There's a camera in it. Turn it on and start talking. Share your passion. Share what you do. Share your why you do what you do, how you do what you do. Do all that. Do it in a video. Because that one piece of content, and it doesn't have to be long. It could be 2 to 10 minutes. I mean, it doesn't need to be long. It could be 3 hours. I mean, whatever you want that content, whatever you want to talk about, when you're done talking, stop. And you don't have to share everything. Share one thing, right? Turn that off. And this is how you make that go further. Go live. Go live on Facebook. Open up Periscope. Go live on Twitter. Go into LinkedIn. Go live there. Do a quick YouTube, go live on YouTube. Whatever it is, go live because now you've got that content. It's already out there and it's already working for you. Right? So start with the video. So then the next piece. So now we've got 2 to 10 minutes of video time. There's our bunch of content in 10 minutes. So you might be thinking, all right, Claudia, well, that's like one piece of content. What do you do?
What do you do?
What do you do next? How am I going to get hundreds of pieces from that one piece of content? This is what I do. And I do it, and it works amazingly. Okay? First thing you can do, if you have a podcast, strip the audio from the video. Now you have audio for your podcast. You have audio that you can send that you can do as an upsell. You can include audio to this, right? Have that go out. There's another piece of content. Next piece, you can split up that video. You don't need anything fantastic. You can even download an app from the App Store or the Google Play Store, which will chop videos up for you. You can break that up into 1-minute pieces of content. Now you've got 2 to 10 more pieces of video that you can share. You can send that video to a transcription company that will transcribe it for you. There are companies that will do it for 10 cents a minute. I like Rev.com. I'm not an affiliate for them. I don't even know if they have an affiliate program. I use them consistently. They're $1 a minute. I like them because I can rely on their transcription. I very rarely have to go back and edit it. It's usually spot on. But now I've got the actual words to whatever tips I just shared or whatever background I have. That's another piece of content. That piece of content can go into your email newsletter. It can go into your written newsletter. You can break that up. You can be a blog post. You can break that up and you can highlight areas. You can expand upon them. You can embed your video onto your website. You can link your video into your email. You can grab that transcription. You can highlight it, which are quotable quotes. Stop quoting everybody else. Start quoting yourself.
Hallelujah!
Come on. Coach yourself. Be viewed as
Coach
an
yourself.
expert because
Yeah.
you are the person who knows what you know. And you
Yeah.
want to share that. So all of a sudden you have one video that literally, if you went live, took you 2 to 10 minutes to create once you got
Yeah.
over whatever hangups you have with your appearance.
Yep.
Which there shouldn't be any, because at the end of the day, nobody cares what you look like.
Nobody cares.
Nobody cares. They only care if your words are the words they need to hear at that moment. So does your message resonate?
Right.
That's all
Because
they
it doesn't
care.
matter if it's not what they want to hear. They're not going to listen no matter how cute you are.
Exactly. Right. And if you're like one of those people that's like, but I'm really cute and I want to be really cute, great. Well, they're going to turn your volume off because they may not want to actually hear you. So is that going to do? I mean, unless you're a model, I mean, I guess that's fine. I don't know. I'm not a model, but whatever industry that is that can use that,
Right.
Then that's a different strategy. But grab that video, make it work, turn it into your workhorse. All of a sudden, 1 2 to 10 minute video that you had everybody else do the work for you, transcribing, you're just now going to go and post, send it to your webmaster, send it to whoever's doing your social media. It's your words, it's your content. You've just created hundreds of pieces of content, evergreen content, means content can be used over and over and over again, that's authentic in your voice without literally batting an eye. You didn't have to stress about it. You don't need to do anything with it. And I promise you, that's the content that's going to get the most engagement, that's going to resonate with the right people that you want to hear it. And it's just a phenomenal strategy that takes that guessing work out of all of a sudden you have it. A quick example, I have a friend who's a florist, right? She goes, Claudia, but I'm a florist. I mean, what do I write about? What do I talk about? And I just looked at her and I said, oh my God, you're a florist. How many flowers do you carry? And she was like, I don't know, like thousands of them. I'm like, so what I'm hearing is that you pretty much have content for the next 5 years.
Right.
That's what I'm hearing.
Right.
You go in, you pick a flower and you talk about it. This is a rose. This is the kind of rose we have. This is where it's from.
Right.
And then the next day you do something else. And then you transcribe that. And now you have newsletters and you have information that are only expressed in your words, sharing your passion in your voice.
Yes.
That supersedes any other content creation strategy that anybody else is going to try and sell you, because this one is free.
Right. And that one where, I go, like, I'm exploding because, we all know that I wrote the $1 Million Equation for doctors, right? And so they were my clients, and I still have several still today that, getting content is like, and then they want it to be, I said, stop writing it for another doctor.
Yep.
The doctor is not your client. Your patient needs to hear it from you. They need to hear your words. So just talk. Just talk.
And speak their language. I think a lot of times when we start our businesses, we're thinking about where we are in our lives at that moment. We forget to put ourselves back to the person that we were when we were looking for a solution.
Sure.
Right? So you got to speak to that person. Speak to the person you were a couple of years ago when you were looking for that solution.
Yes.
That's your audience.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, that is so true. I had a client who was in one of my breakthrough classes, and she said she was frustrated. And I said, well, what's the matter? She goes, well, I just got asked to speak at a chamber. And I'm like, okay, why is that bad? And she's like, well, because they want me to talk about your elevator speech. Ugh. That's such a horrible, thing to talk about. And it just makes my head just spin. And I go, what the hell is wrong with you? Why is that? And she goes, well, what, Richelle? That's like so 2010. I go, no, it's not. That was just the name for it in 2010.
Right.
But your elevator speech is truly your great solution, which is chapter 1 in the $1 Million Equation, right? It's your USP from Dan Kennedy or any of the marketing people, your unique selling proposition. That's what your elevator speech is. And if you can't describe who you are, how many people fuck that up? Yeah. And I watch them all the time and I go, oh my gosh, okay, why are you telling that part? No. I have made millions of dollars off of, hi, my name is Richelle. I am the only female African-American public utility owner in the right?
Yeah.
Now I help people build their own $1 million business. Hello? They line up. They can't wait. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm like, how can you not be excited to teach people that?
Right. Right.
And she
It's so
went,
huge.
oh, right.
Well, and we get
this
caught
is
up
the
on
same
that.
thing.
Yeah, it's totally, we get caught up on that. We get caught up on, that again, I call it that academic portion of it because,
Yeah.
if you've ever sat in business 101, right? They sit there and they tell you, you need to have your business plan. What makes you different? What makes you unique? What's going to make you stand out? Why should I pay for your thing? These are all things we've already worked out in our mind, and then we think we're above it. So when I started One Amazing Women's Network, I was like, all right, well, what makes us different? You know what? There's so many women's networking groups out there. There's also category protected networking groups out there. And they work and they're phenomenal. And they work, for a lot of people, they work.
Sure.
So why would anybody want to join mine? Why would anybody want to come to our group? And I researched and researched and researched, and I couldn't see the forest from the trees.
Yeah.
I was so overwhelmed by what I thought I needed it to be that I forgot why I even wanted to start it. And why I wanted to start it was because I wanted to connect with other women like me. Yeah. And I love working with men. And if those men want to come in and help out, then I would love to work with them too. Yeah. But I wanted people that understood that in structure, there's freedom. I wanted people to understand that if you created a solid foundation, that you will weather any algorithm there is on social media. Your business will succeed through any type of recession because you have a solid building block. I wanted to connect with people who knew that there's plenty of work for everybody, that there is no competition, that competition lies in your head. I mean, these are things that to me are extremely important because I believe that. Yeah. And I was like, okay, you know what? The core beliefs of One Amazing Women's Network is what I believe. Yeah. And if people go to the website and they don't believe that, I'm okay with that. And so when I talk about the content that I share, it comes down from those core values that all of a sudden I'm meeting women and men who think the same way, who have that basic set core fundamental beliefs that we're like, oh my God, you're my people. Yeah. And that's how it is with this content strategy too. It's to really just be you and attract those people that are most likely going to be willing and happy to say, Richelle, shut up and just take my money.
Right. And they chase you down and say, how can I pay you?
Yes.
And gosh, you described it so well. And I think that if I would say that there was one thing that has helped my business and how, I had one job in my life and I bought the company. Yeah. Right. So if there was one thing, it's this. It's that thing. Yeah. It's that, I've been really clear about who I want to work with and who I don't. And I'll take some that I don't and I'll go, oh, okay, yeah, that didn't work.
I touched that water. It was a little cold.
Yes.
I'm not going to get in that swimming pool.
Right. I feel like the one of the scariest movies where they're like, get out. So I start whispering to them so that I get it. But once again, it is get back to who is. Who are you talking to? And the people who really understand, we feel above it because now we only want to teach the fun new thing that we learned instead of what the absolute fundamental is. And my book Jackpot, I tell this story all the time, and I wrote that one same way. I recorded it. Mm-hmm. Okay, got it transcribed so that I'm not sitting there typing, because when I start typing, there's a thou. I'm like, is that a semicolon or a silly shit?
There's a lot of noise that distracts you.
Yes. Yeah. But I didn't really have a purpose because I didn't really know who my who was, right? And I didn't know who was the reader. So made, I think, like $12,000 off of that book. Yeah. Yeah. $1 Million Equation. 7 years ago, it still produces. I stopped counting at 568,000.
That's awesome. That's amazing. And where did it start? It started from you creating one piece of content.
One piece of content.
That stemmed.
Yes.
I mean, when I wrote my book was written, my goal of writing that book was because I was going to do a workshop with 2 other social media strategists. And I was like, how am I going to differentiate myself? Well, you know what? The other 2 don't have a book. I'm going to write a book. So my book was not written for me to go out and sell. It was not written for me to become any type of, bestseller or make a lot of money or retire on the proceeds. It was written so that I can differentiate myself when I go to events, and I am the person who wrote the book on social media for small business owners, and it includes everything that they should know. Right? So it's a primer is what it is. Yeah. And it started with, okay, what content do I already have? I didn't sit down and put pen and paper and go, okay, chapter 1. I was like, I've written a bunch of blog posts which are relevant. I'm going to include those. Now I need more content. So I had a friend of mine interview me, very similar to this. Had someone interview me. I sent it off, got it transcribed. It was like 25 pieces, 25 pages of stuff. And I was like, ooh, that was pretty smart. That was good. Let's put that in there. And all of a sudden I have a 200-page book. So again, it started with a video because we actually we spoke on a video. Started with the video that I shared my passion, I shared my reasons, I shared my stuff. They asked me questions, got it transcribed, turned it into a book, turned it into additional blog posts, turned it into email marketing pieces, turned it into pieces that I can now expand upon because I said something was like, oh, I can actually expand upon that. So now I have a topic for another piece of content. All started with a video. A video. Started it. A video.
Same thing.
So my philosophy, I'm all about get it done. It doesn't get perfect. Just get it done. Done is better than perfect. Right? Go out there. Don't be afraid to get out of your own head. Don't worry about how you look. Speak. Let it flow through you. Share that passion. And then turn that into much smaller pieces of content, snackable content, if you will, something I can digest very quickly. Snackable pieces of content. Put that as your marketing materials. Put that into your social media content. And literally you created 12 pieces of content or 12 videos that will fuel you for the entire year of content without having to buy anything fancy. You have a phone, use it. I mean, if I were to say if you were going to use anything, buy a piece of equipment to it, what I would probably do is get a microphone. Right? So you have clear audio because people will forgive a video, but they won't forgive bad audio if they can't hear you. So maybe get a microphone on it. They're inexpensive. They're $10 to $12 online. So, go get that and then just start talking and sharing, and you repurpose that content. Have better use of your time. Right? And don't sit there and sweat like, what am I going to talk? Oh my God, what am I going to talk about today?
And don't hire somebody to write the content for you.
No, do it yourself. Nobody is as passionate about your business as you are. I don't care how long you've been in business. You know your business better than anybody else. And yet, as small business owners, we're like, oh my God, social media content. I don't know what to write. I don't know what to do. I don't like being on camera. I don't like doing this. I'm just going to hire somebody else. And can't you just do it all for me? And then people do, and then it doesn't work. And then you're like, well, social media doesn't work for me. And it's like, okay, wait a second. I mean, we gave you the recipe. You have all the ingredients. You chose not to use the ingredients. You chose to overbake this cake, and now the cake is horrible. And you're saying that the recipe didn't work. No. This is a recipe for hundreds of pieces of content in less than 10 minutes. It works. It's tried. It's true. It's easy. You could implement it right after watching this video.
There you go.
You can go in and you've got, do your video. Now you're good to go. You've already started without giving it much thought.
Yeah. We just did that for a client, a mutual client that we had, right? And for a client, we did the same thing. Here's his book right here. Right? It just that fast. We did video. We took the video, we cut it all up. We've been running that as a social media. He's got ads for it. We took the transcription. We took out little pieces. Now he's got that, and he's got this book that it's almost like they want it to be harder. Right. And they've made it like this thing that no. Every single book, that's exactly how I've done it.
Right. Genius doesn't have to cost a lot of money.
No.
Genius is within us. And the question is what do we do with our own genius?
Yes.
To turn it into something that's truly genius. And when I sat there and I simplified my content strategy, I had content calendars, much like this is my marketing calendar now, but I had content calendars where I'd print them out, and then I would sit there and I'd be like, well, on so-and-so day, I'm going to talk about this, and then I'm going to talk about this, and then I'm going to talk, because that's what everybody tells you to do. And it was so
I remember
exhausting.
that. I did the same thing, and I did like 4 days, and then by the 5th day, I'm done.
You're done. It was so much, it was work. It was a lot of work.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, and a lot of us, we get into business. We don't get into business for ourselves to work. We get into business for ourselves because we want freedom.
Yes.
And
that's what this is all about.
This is about freeing up your day and creating all this content in less than 10 minutes. Yeah. Less than 10 minutes, you know. So do it. I promise you, it'll change the way you view content creation for your social media marketing from here on forward. And if you make it more difficult than this, it's because you're not following the recipe. And you're over baking that cake, and we need to not over bake the cake.
An extra egg instead of just doing it. Just slow it down. You know, I think that it's attached to that perfection thing.
Yes.
Where people think that they need to be perfect instead of just being out there and done. One of the things that has always been comfortable for me is talking. You know, I was that one that it's like, teacher, no matter where you sit me, I'm going to talk to them too, right? Yep. So it doesn't matter. And when video first started, becoming big, right? So it's got to be with the traffic geyser. You remember that? With Mike Koenigs and it had to be early 2010.
Yeah. It was within the last 10 years.
Yeah. And so I would sit down and just do, 10 videos at a time because I had so many things I want to talk about, right? They were like 3 to 5 minutes. Okay, boom, I hit the thing and I would talk. Okay, stop. But I would be all dolled up, right? And I'd try to change jackets and change all of my jewelry. And it's like, really? No. If you notice that the whole time I've had on a black shirt, because now I have a uniform. I got on a black shirt every day of my life because that's just easier.
It's just easier that way. I mean, if it works for Zuckerberg and all that, I mean, why can't it work for us? And I think that a lot of people, they think when it comes to video, like, I need to look perfect. I don't have good lighting. I have a ring light above me, and you'll see that there's kind of a glare to it. And so, now I have a shiny forehead as a result of my ring light. So there is no perfection there either, right?
Okay.
But, I mean, I
was going to buy one, so now I'm not going to buy one?
Well, but so here's the thing. It's like, I'm looking at you on your video. You're clearly sitting in front of a window.
Yeah, it's okay.
Right. Okay. So you've got lighting. Yeah. So if you want good light, and I have a window too, it's just a window that gets very hot. And so I have it blacked out right now. But if you've got a window, point the camera, like you stand in front of the window. Don't put the window behind you. Do exactly how Richelle has. Richelle is clearly sitting in front of a window. She's got the camera pointed at her. So she's got great lighting from there. Go outside, right? You're like, go outside and do the video because the sun is out there. The sun is your friend. So, don't get overwhelmed in the minutia of, I got to have a perfect studio. I was watching this one guy. They do amazing work. I won't say who they are, but they're a company that goes out and sets your in-home studio. Listen, there's nothing I would love more than an in-home studio that would make me look perfect every single time with all this space and prompters and whatnot. The reality is that's a nice to have. It's not a gotta have. No.
People don't believe the perfect.
Right.
Now you're going to get a whole bunch of perfectionists because they like your stuff because it's perfect. God bless. I love Marie Forleo, and when I watch her stuff, I go, damn, it's perfect. That's awesome. But I also know that she came from a television and, recording background. So all these people were her friends. It didn't cost her $10,000 the first time she was shooting video.
Right. And to her, I'm sure she probably does things and goes like, oh my God, that was horrible because she's so used to being at that elevated state. Yeah. I mean, take a look at the world around us. We live in a flawed world.
Yes.
Why do we need to be perfect?
Right.
I mean,
no.
Embrace your flaws and just go out there and do your video. Make sure that they can see you.
Yeah.
Right? You want to be able to see your face. Make sure they can see your eyes because the eyes are the windows to the soul. Yeah. So make sure they can see your eyes. I mean, of course, now I've done videos with my sunglasses on because it's clearly really bright. And so that's fine. But don't make all your videos with sunglasses on, right? But make sure they can see your eyes. Make sure they can see your smile. They can hear you talking clearly. And that they have a clear view of who you are. Check your background. Make sure that you don't want anything in your background that you don't want published for eternity.
Yeah.
in there, because I've seen videos that you're like, ooh, that's probably not a good thing. Don't do them in your bathroom. I mean, don't do your videos in your bathroom. Go outside and do it. That's a much better place. Don't do them in your car while you're driving. That scares the bejesus out of me, because even though people are like, I'm not driving, I don't care, it looks like you are. It's very distracting, because then there's that thought, is that person driving or not? Are they going to get in an accident or not? So they're truly not listening to your message. So yes, the car has like perfect light no matter where we go. It's because the way their car is domed and everything, it gives you good lighting. But don't do it in your car. Resist that temptation. But go do it outside. Find yourself under a shaded tree that I can see you clearly and I can hear you clearly. And just go do the video, and don't worry about perfection. Perfection is boring. I'm a Virgo. I mean, we're all about perfection, right? Yeah. Don't be perfect. Don't worry about it. When I realized that I don't need to be perfect, things changed for me. When I realized I could just speak and I would attract people, and that they would come and want to connect with me and hang out with me and work with me, things changed. When I realized I didn't have to rack my brain on a content strategy that was written down, that I had to figure out 30 things that I'm going to talk about this month. I mean, Richelle, let me ask you, 30 things you're going to talk about this month. How does that make you feel?
Overwhelmed.
It sounds like work.
Yeah, sounds like
right?
Work.
It sounds like work. Did you get into business for yourself to work?
No,
you got into for freedom.
Right.
For financial freedom, for time freedom.
Right.
Now you're willing to put in the work because that's what's important to you to get that end result. But simplify it for yourself. Get on video. Get it transcribed. Use that content and plaster it everywhere. Rather than, what am I going to talk about for 30 days? Get 30 pieces of content from your post, and now all you have to do is just schedule them.
Yeah.
And run them.
Here's what's even better. Well, not what's better, but if you decide that at the end of the video you hate it, right? It doesn't matter. We want the content. So don't post the video.
Right.
Ta-da!
You can still transcribe it.
Right.
I mean, you can still transcribe
it. You can still do all those, so maybe
it.
you only have 99 at the end of 10 minutes. Right?
Exactly. I mean, you can strip the audio from that video. You can put a really pretty picture of you up there or whatever else. You can have the little video sound thingy going on and post that as your video.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, I got another video. That's still something you can do with that same video if you wanted to add multiply that content by 2 and have 2 additional pieces. You could do so much with this strategy. 10 minutes is all it takes to make hundreds, even thousands of pieces of content that you can put out there, and it's evergreen, which means you can use it over and over and over and over and over and over and over again, as many times as you want, for as long as it's relevant within your industry and within what you're trying to do, so it aligns with your goals.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it.
Yay!
Hey, you. We are so grateful that you are part of MDE Nation. Are you enjoying this episode? Let me know what you think, especially if you have a question. I would love to answer it personally. You can go to RichelleShaw.com/podcast to get more information about each episode, or to be reminded of the MDE weekly assignment and so much more. Go to RichelleShaw.com/podcast.
I've been asking everybody to tell me about their favorite client. And so that's kind of one of my little things that I'm doing. Not your ideal, your favorite. Like who is it? Like, tell me about him or her. You don't have to say their name, but describe them. Tell me about them.
So my favorite all-time client is someone who's starting their business or has been in business for a little while, but they recognize that there's more to learn and they're open to learning it. And when I'm talking to them, they're like all inquisitive and unsure. And then all of a sudden, the epiphany, like you can see this light bulb goes off in them, and they light up because they get it. And the minute they get it, they're hooked. Yeah. That person is like, they're everywhere. Yeah. And it's a matter of when I say something that resonates with them and they turn around and light up, that is the person I want to talk to every day, because at that point they're hungry for the information. They want to learn more. They want to know more because they see it all come together. That is my favorite client.
Yeah.
And of course,
So
that they
you
pay.
must, so you
And that
must,
they pay.
and well, right. So you must have met them before, right? So, were there 3 people like that, 15 people like that? But, tell me about one of them that has like their business and what happened.
Well, I mean, I'll probably the florist right now. I mean, her name's Ellen. Ellen, if you're watching this, shout out to you, girl, because Ellen is that person. She showed up at one of our marketing club meetings. She came through a Facebook ad that I was running. Yeah. So she saw it. She went in. She registered. She showed up. She brought I think it was like 3 dozen roses, a rose for everybody in attendance, which I thought was extremely sweet and completely unnecessary, but they were gorgeous. Right. And she sat there and she said, "This is why I'm here." And she shared why she was here. And it was because she felt overwhelmed with this whole marketing idea and she didn't want to feel alone. And so then we had the meeting and her and I stayed talking a little bit longer. And on that day, she signed up for the next marketing club for our July event, which is called Own Up. And she signed up to become a member of One Amazing Women's Network. And during that meeting, it was interesting because her her eyes just lit up. And when I saw that her eyes lit up, I was like, wow, she's going to be a lot of fun to work with. Yeah. She has come, this was 2 months ago. 2 months ago, she has come to every meeting. I had lunch with her yesterday. She brought a friend who said, "You've got to meet Claudia," and her. We just sat there talking about business and just throwing ideas. And she's extremely receptive to, "I'll give it a try. What's the worst that'll happen? It won't work, and I'll try something new. It's just a video. It's just a post." And now she's come up with creative ideas to make her social media marketing extremely easy. She does it like at 3:00 in the morning when she's up, because she's the only person up at that time apparently. And she wants to do it. She's like hungry for more and just give me more information. And this is somebody who I'm just like, oh my God, you are so inspiring. And I want to be you when I grow up. So it's this mutual admiration of somebody who I feel is my people. They get me and I get them. And that's my favorite type of person to work with. They're not a specific age. That varies. Yep. They're just open and receptive and willing to give it a shot, because if they try it, it might be great. It might suck. Right. But it might be awesome. Sure. And that's Ellen.
Yes, I love that. All right, and my final question is, what's the one thing that those listening, watching in the audience need to do to crush the rest of the year? We've got half a year left if you're watching this at the beginning of when it first comes out, but it's evergreen because this stuff works. I don't care what they say. But what's the one thing that they need to do?
Start right now. Start now and be consistent. Do it and just do it. And don't overthink it. Because if you start now, there's that one saying that says, imagine where you'd be a year from now if you started a year ago, or imagine where you'd be a year from now if you started today. Yeah. Right? Or where were you a year ago? Yeah. And are you there yet? So start right now. Start right now with getting your camera out. Start right now with doing videos. Start right now with creating your content. Start now, because it's going to grow. And a year from now, you're going to go, wow. You're going to look back and you go, oh my God, I was so overwhelmed. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know. And now look how far I've come, and look what traction that has gained for my business. So one thing to do, start today. Don't overthink it. Be consistent. Yeah. I know that's 3 things, but that's what you got to do. Pretend it's all one word.
It works. It works. And I will tell folks, especially who are frustrating, is that, what your business looks like right now from what you did 100 days ago. Right? Yeah. So if it sucks right now, it's because, 100 days ago was March and you lost the momentum, from the new year, and you stopped working. And so that's what's happening right now. But by the end of the year, everything could be all changed around.
Totally. It's in the mind. Start today.
Everything. Love it. Ladies and gentlemen, my friend, Claudia Sheridan. Yay!
Thank you, Richelle. Thank you, guys. I wish you guys much success on anything.
Yeah, they're going to get it. Thank you.